Hi there, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's yoga class centers around the theme of non-judgment, coming to the mat, coming to life in general, without allowing your preconceived prejudices and your biases ruling your every decision and ultimately ruling your very life. Come without judgment, come with an open mind. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify where you need to, pause the stream or ease your way into child pose at any time should you need a little breather. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to start off for today's class coming into a seated frame, preferably in thunderbolt with the knees together and the feet together, sitting back on the heels. If you prefer, you could open up the legs, take a block, feed it through, sit back on the block or the pillow, or you could come to a high kneeling frame or maybe Sukhasana, easy sit if you prefer. Bring your hands into Shuni Mudra by bringing your middle finger and your thumb together. This mudra symbolizes patience, not only with yourself, but with the universe and your environment in general. We're going to start off with a little bit of breath work. Let's play with Ujjayi breath, ocean breath. You're going to be inhaling and exhaling through the nose exclusively, and you're going to try to make an audible sound on both the inhalation and the exhalation so that you're ultimately emulating the sound of soft crashing waves. To begin your breath work, think of softly constricting the larynx, almost as if you were sucking air through a straw or a ventilator. And then make an audible exhale. Close your eyes, take your focus inwards. Continue with that breath pattern, making a gentle sound on both the inhalation and the exhalation, and starting to use that calming sound to start stilling your mind and start tuning into your body for today's practice. Keep that breath pattern going as you gently flutter open the eyes and start taking it into a gentle shoulder roll. Inhaling as you float the shoulders up, exhaling as you drop the shoulders down. Visualize waves crashing on the rocks and just releasing their tension every time you drop the shoulders away from your ears. Maybe reversing that little circle, inhaling as you come up and exhaling softly as you come down. Let's do 2 more like this. Then on your next inhale, you're going to gently bring the hands together in prayer and extend the arms out in front, taking a big Ujjayi inhale in, arms in line with your shoulders. Let's say for a long count of 10. And on a long exhale for 10, you're going to bring the wrist line in towards your chest, empty for 10, and then retain your breath by nodding your chin to your chest and holding for a further count of 10. Release your chin lock. Take a big inhale in for a slow count of maybe 10, extending long through the arms, breathing right into the back of your ribs. Exhale for 10 as you bring your wrist line in towards your chest. Retain your breath for a further count of 10 as you nod your chin to your chest, effectively locking that air in your torso, allowing your body an opportunity to make use of all that beautiful oxygen that you brought in. Then release your chin lock and extend the arms. Continue playing with that ujjayi, nice audible sound on the inhale as you extend the arms out in front. Nice audible exhale as you draw the wrist line in towards your chest. No sound at all as you nod your chin to your chest and apply the chin lock, the Jalandhara Bandha. Keep playing with that little breath pattern using 3 components of breath: inhalation, exhalation, and retention of the breath. Puraka, Rechaka, and Kumbhaka. Keeping your focus inward, just being in the moment without judgment. Just allow what will happen on the mat today to happen. The next time you extend the arms out in front, keep them long and lengthened, and on an inhale, open up the left arm as if you wanted to come to T, and then extend past your T line, sweeping the arm back as far as you can on that big inhale. On the exhale, draw yourself back to the center line. Inhale to open up the right arm, breathing into all 4 dimensions of the rib cage, out to the side, up towards the sternum, and all the way back towards your spine. On the exhale, work with resistance as you bring the hand back towards the center line. Keep playing with that little ujjayi breath. Finding a steady breath and movement ratio of your own, syncing your movement to your breath, reaching long and lengthened through both arms as you open them up, and then working with resistance as you bring the hands back towards the center line. Keep your spine nice and long, so a little tuck of the tailbone, belly button softly pulled in, not collapsing your ribs, but keeping your whole torso beautifully lengthened. Let's do one more to each side. As you come back to the center line, ease your way into a comfortable 4-point kneeling frame on your mat. Hands stacking underneath your shoulders, knees stacking underneath your hip points. Make sure that you're not dropping your head. Think of giving me a nice long line through the neck and the spine, keeping your weight distribution equal on the arms and the legs. On an inhale, you're going to come into cow, dropping your, think of taking your tailbone and your chin up to the ceiling, allowing your belly to drop, breathing right into the front of your chest. On an exhale, bring it back to neutral. Find that length through the spine. And then on an inhale, take it into a cow, nodding your chin and your chest down, rounding out, breathing all the way into the back of your ribs. Inhale, and then exhale as you bring it back to neutral. Find that length through the spine. On a long inhale, extend the right arm and the left leg at about a tabletop height, trying to give me a long line through the arm, the neck, the back, and the leg. Bring it back to 4-point kneeling. Let's run through that one more time. Inhaling to find your cow, breathing all the way into the front of the ribs into the sternum. Exhale to bring it back to neutral and find that length. Inhale to round out in cat, breathing into the back of your ribs. Bring it back to neutral. Find that length through the spine on the exhale. On the inhale, extend right arm, left leg, reaching as long as you can, trying to tap the wall in front of you and the wall behind you. Bring it back to neutral. We're going to bring it into a side plank from here. You're going to think of gently taking your right foot, turning it out to the side, stacking it behind your knee as you pivot the whole body, setting yourself up in an extended side plank and reaching the top arm and leg nice and long, bringing that top arm as close to your ear as you can, and just taking a beautiful extended stretch here, pushing off your stabilizing arm and not collapsing into the mat. Hold that stretch. Think length through the body. Then bend the top arm and place the hand behind your head as you float the top leg up in line with your hip. Tap to the mat, bring it back to table. Tuck the knee in towards your waistline, bring it back to extension. Float the leg out in front, bring it back to table. Tap out to the mat, back to table, bend the knee, tuck in, extend back out into table, float the whole extended leg out in front of you as if you were drawing it towards your hip, and then float back. Let's do that one more time. Tap out to the mat, bring it back, tuck the knee in towards the belly, extend the leg, and float the whole leg out in front. Come back to your tabletop line and find that extended side stretch one more time. Reaching long and lengthened, big toe to fingertip. Try to make a long line through the meridian of the leg, the ribs, and the arm. Then find your way from here into a side tiger by bending that top leg, running your hand down the chain of the leg, reaching for the bridge of your foot. Once you've gotten hold of the foot, kick the foot into your hand as if you were trying to give me a little bit of distance between the heel and your bum, and enjoy your stretch. Hold it. You're going to think of coming back to your 4-point kneeling pose from here. Tuck your toes under, and then think of pushing back into child, but stopping with your bum just shy of your heels. Extend the arms on the mat in front of you and bring your hands off the mat. So you're resting with your pulse points actively on the mat and your fingertips looking up towards the ceiling. Pause here, just making your nose, maybe your crown, maybe your forehead nice and heavy to the mat. Come to your 4-point kneeling frame from here. Relax the bridges of your feet and lean the weight forward over your wrists, coming into a kneeling up dog. Don't collapse your frame. Push off your palms, draw energy up along the inner thighs and from your pelvic floor all the way towards your sternum. Stay or play. See if you can float the knees up off the floor, resting the weight effectively on the bridges of your feet and the palms of your hands. Strong through the belly, strong through the core, strong through the arms and the shoulders. Then relax your knees and your shins to the floor, maybe coming into a high cobra, or if this is too much for your back, start bending through the elbows, bringing it down as slowly as you can into a baby cobra with your bottom rib gently connected to the mat. Keep the elbows tucked in towards the center line, wherever you decide to play with your cobra, whether it's low to the mat or high to the mat. From your cobra line, you're going to think of setting yourself up in a sphinx line. So if you were in the high line, start gently bending through the elbows, bring it down into baby cobra, Bhujangasana, and then slide the forearms out in front of you, elbow points stacking underneath your armpits. Don't collapse into the mat. Think of softly pushing off your forearms and your elbow points and trying to grow your whole rib cage and your whole crown gently up towards the ceiling. Bend the right knee, pointing the toes up to the ceiling. and replicate on the left. Hold that frame, take a big breath in, and peek over the left shoulder as if you were looking for those feet. Inhale to come back to center, and exhale to gently peek over the other side. Inhale to bring it back. Relax your legs one at a time, draping them soft and relaxed on the mat. Nod your chin to your chest. Draw your hands back so that your palms are alongside your bosom. Reconnect your forehead to the mat and push back through 4-point kneeling into an extended child pose. Big toes together, knees open, nice and wide. Sit back, take a stretch here in child. Keeping the arms long and lengthened in front of you, walking your weight back and trying to drop the heels back as close towards your bum as you can comfortably manage. We're going to thread the needle from here. Take a big breath in. And on an exhale, thread your right arm underneath your left armpit, effectively resting on the side of your head, maybe the weight resting on your right temple, and peeking underneath that left armpit for the ceiling. The arm that you've threaded through, make that whole shoulder nice and heavy into the mat. The arm that's extended out in front of you, anchoring to the mat, push into that palm and actively sink your bum bones a little bit further back towards the back edge of your mat. Find your way back into your extended child line. Take a big breath in to prepare, and on the exhale, thread to the other side. Taking the left arm, tucking it underneath your armpit. The arm that you're threading through, make that shoulder nice and heavy into the mat. Palm is looking up to the ceiling. On your anchoring arm, the arm that's looking towards the front of your mat, push into that palm actively. Try to sink your bum bones back further as if somebody was standing behind you, gently pulling your hips back. Think of your hip points and your bum bones aiming for the back edge of your mat. Ease your way gently back into extended child and find your way back to your 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Check that your hands are stacking underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Belly button firmly pulled into center the whole time that you're playing. On a big inhale, find cow by thinking of taking your chin and your bum bones up towards the ceiling, breathing into the front of your ribs. Think of the sternum growing away from your spinal column. On an exhale, bring yourself back into neutral tabletop. On an inhale, round out in cat, my bad. Breathing into the back of your ribs. Inhale to find your neutral line. And then let's extend left arm and right leg, shooting for that long line through the arm, the neck, the back, and the leg. Try to tap the wall in front of you and the wall behind you. Bring it back to table. Find your cat. Let's do cow first. Bring it back to table. Breathe into the back of your ribs as you round out in cat. Back to table. On the inhale, extend opposite arm and leg, left arm, right leg. Try to tap the wall in front of you, the wall behind you, looking for that length through the arm, the spine, and the leg. Let's do that one more time. Find your way back to table. Inhale as you find your cow. Taking your chin and your bum bones up to the ceiling, breathing into the front of your ribs. Exhale to find your table, looking for length in the spine. Exhale to round out. Bring it back to table. Extend opposite arm and leg, left arm, right leg, coming into extension. As you draw back to your tabletop line, think of setting up your side plank on the left, so my back is going to be towards you. Focus on the left leg. Think of floating the foot out to the side, stacking behind your knee as you swivel through the body to set up your extended side plank. Floating the top arm and leg long and lengthened, giving me a long line from your big toe all the way to the fingertips of the top arm that you're bringing as close towards your ear as you can. Then take the top arm, bend the elbow and tuck the hand behind your head in a surrender-like fashion, floating the top leg up in line with your hip. Tap the big toe to the mat, bring it back to table, bend or tuck the knee in, extend the leg, and then float the whole leg out in front of you, drawing back to table. Tap out, back to table. Bend the knee, extend, and float the leg in a little leg pull. Tap to the mat, bring it back. Tuck in, extend the leg, and give me a little leg pull. Let's do that one more time. Tap out, bring it back to table, tuck in, extend the leg, float it out in front, and then gently bring it back. Reconnect the toes to the mat and find that extended side angle, looking for as much length as you can in the body, really trying to open up the spaces between your ribs. We'll find our way into side tiger from here. Bending the top leg, running your hand down the chain of the leg, reaching for the bridge of your foot. Once you've found it, kick the foot into your hand. Think side dancer, Notarayasana, as you find your modified tiger stretch, Vyagrasana. Ease your way from here back into 4-point kneeling, tucking the toes under as you do. Lean back as if you were coming into child, and then extend the arms on the mat in front of you, allowing your pulse points to drop to the mat, but allowing the fingertips to peep up towards the ceiling as you try to connect your forehead to the mat. Then drop gently from here back into 4-point kneeling. Relax the bridges of your feet. Lean the weight forward over the knees, over the wrists, and find a kneeling up dog frame. Pushing strongly off your palms, nice and strong through the lower belly area. Think of squeezing the two inner thighs together and allowing the energy to travel up towards your crown. Then see if you can float your kneecaps off the floor, coming into a full up dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, allowing the weight to rest on the tops of your feet and the palms of your hand. Ease your way from here into a cobra line, Bhujangasana, draping your knees and your shins on the floor, either keeping your cobra line high or maybe beginning to bend through the arms and taking it down as low as you need to find a comfortable frame. Maybe stopping in baby with your bottom rib still connected to the mat, elbows tucked in. Whether you're playing low or high to the mat, keep those elbows softly tucking in towards the rib cage. Ease your way from your cobra line into Sphinx. If you were high to the mat, bring it down gently, find your baby line. Slide the elbows and the forearms out in front of you. Make sure you're not collapsing your ribs. So push off the forearms, find length through the spine, and maybe just start by looking gently off the front of your mat. Then bend the knees one at a time, pointing the toes softly up towards the ceiling. Peek over your left shoulder as if you were looking for the back edge of your mat. Float your head back to center and peek over the right shoulder. Coming back to your midway point, relax the legs long and lengthen behind you one at a time and gently find your way down onto the belly. Maybe as you bring your head down to the mat, sweep the arms down and then open them up into a T-frame on the mat, palms looking down into the mat with your forehead softly connected to the mat. We're going to play with a little shoulder opening sequence, and we'll layer this one like an onion, playing with a few options. Every time we add a new option, you can elect to stay or play. Bend the left elbow, placing either your flat palm or your spider fingertips alongside your chest, and lean into the right shoulder, rolling over onto it, almost knife edging your feet and just peeking over that top shoulder, bringing your head all the way up off the floor and trying to make that bottom shoulder nice and heavy into the mat. Inhale to come back to center. We're going to do that on the other side. Find your T-frame. Bend the right arm. Place your palm or your fingertips alongside your bosom. Push off the hands. Start rotating through the body, making your left shoulder nice and heavy into the mat and peeking over that top shoulder for the ceiling. Find your way back to your starting position in T. Bend the left arm. Place the fingertips or the palm alongside your bosom. Lean into your right shoulder as you start rotating through the body, either staying in knife edge or bending the top leg. And today, let's just place the tip of our toe behind your extended bottom leg. Retrace your steps back to your start position in T with your forehead connected to the mat. Bend the right arm, place the palm or the fingertips alongside your bosom. Start leaning into the left shoulder as you rotate through the trunk, bringing your head off the mat, bending the top leg, placing the toe behind the bottom leg. Retrace your way back to your start position in T with your forehead connected to the mat. Bend your left arm, placing your flat palm or your fingertips alongside your bosom. Start leaning into the right shoulder as you start rotating through the trunk, knife edging your feet, or maybe bending the top leg, this time trying to place the flat foot on the floor, and then bending the bottom leg and placing that foot also flat on the floor while leaning all the weight into your bottom shoulder. Retrace your way back to your start position in T with your forehead connected to the mat. Bend your right arm, place the flat palm or the fingertips alongside your bosom. Start leaning all the weight into the left shoulder as you begin knife edging your body. Maybe bending the top leg, placing the whole sole of the foot behind the bottom leg, and then bending the bottom leg as well and anchoring that foot into the mat as well. Retrace your way back into your original T-frame with your forehead connected to the mat. Bend your left arm, place your palm or your fingertips alongside your bosom. Begin leaning weight into your right shoulder as you start finding your knife edge position. Bend the top leg, place the whole foot on the floor. Bend the bottom leg, place the whole foot on the floor. See if you can bring your top hand off the mat and push the closest knee away. Softly retrace your way back to your start position in T with your forehead gently connected to the mat. Bend your right arm, place the fingertips alongside your bosom. Lean the weight into your left shoulder. Start gently knife edging the body. Bend the top leg, place the whole foot on the floor, and replicate with the other leg. If that feels good, lift the top arm off the mat, push the closest knee away from you, and hold. Look for stillness, look for control. Retrace, refloat your way back to your start position in T with your forehead gently connected to the mat. Bend your left arm, place the fingertips alongside your bosom. As you start leaning, you're going to knife edge your body and then just float the legs till they're over one another. Bend the top leg. See if you can come to a modified tiger here by running your hand down the chain of the leg, reaching for the bridge of your foot, and then kicking the foot into your hand, almost thinking of trying to tuck the tailbone under and holding a modified tiger stretch, still leaning weight into the shoulder of the bottom arm. Retrace your way back, finding your way back into T. Bend your right arm, place the fingertips or the palm alongside your bosom. Start leaning weight into the left shoulder. Start knife edging your body and then stack the legs one on top of the other. Hold that position on the mat. Bend the top leg. Use your top hand to run down the chain of the leg and reach for the bridge of your foot. Once you've managed to connect to the foot, kick the foot into your hand and hold your modified tiger, Vyagrasana. Retrace your steps back to the mat, finding your way back into your original T with your forehead softly connected to the mat. Bend your left elbow, place the fingertips or the palm alongside your bosom. Start leaning weight into the right shoulder. As the legs start knife edging, stack one leg on top of the other, and then bend the top leg. Try to plant the whole sole of the foot on the floor in front of you and raise the bottom leg to hover off the mat, reaching long and lengthened through those toes. Stay or begin tracing a slow circular pattern, maybe giving me a couple of rotations in one direction, and then maybe changing it up and floating your trace in the opposite direction. Keep those toes long and lengthened. Slow the movement down by inhaling for half of your circle circumference and then gently exhaling for the other. Softly float back down and retrace your way back to your original start position on the mat. Bend your right arm, place the fingertips or the palm alongside your chest. Start leaning the weight into the left shoulder, knife edging, then stacking your legs one on top of the other. Bend the top leg and place the foot in front of the bottom leg, anchoring into the mat and then trying to float and hold your extended bottom leg long and lengthened, hovering it off the mat. Either staying in this hovering position or beginning to trace a circular pattern in one direction with your long extended bottom leg. Not rushing the movement, inhaling for half the circle, exhaling for the other half, and then changing it up and moving in the opposite direction. Don't be in a rush, just allow it to be. Gently retrace your way back to your start position in T with your forehead softly connected to the mat. Bend both elbows simultaneously. Place the palms alongside your bosom, elbows tucked in, and push back into child pose. Coming softly through 4-point kneeling, maybe drawing the knees in a little bit closer, allowing the big toes to touch, knees softly splayed out. And then allowing the arms to swim gently around the body so that they're tucked around you, back of the hand connected to the mat and the palms looking up. Either staying here in child pose, maybe for a long count of 30, or perhaps electing to come into hare pose, Shashanka, by thinking of rocking the weight off your forehead and onto the crown of your head as if you wanted to come through 4-point kneeling. Either staying here with the weight on your crown or perhaps electing to move dynamically between child and hare, just gently rocking the weight back and forth. If your practice is more advanced and you'd like to come into a quarter headstand, think of floating from child into hare pose, then holding the hare pose steady while you bend your elbows, placing the palms halfway between your head and your knee, then thinking down dog by tucking your toes under, float your bum up to the ceiling, and then gently start creeping your toes closer towards your nose, piking your bum up nice and high, And then using your bent arm to find a resting spot on your tricep for your knee on either side, thinking of bringing the big toes together and allowing the knees to softly splay out and rest on your tricep. Play where you're comfortable. Remember, you're coming to the mat today without judgment. You're not putting any preconceived notions on yourself. You're allowing your body to move and to play where it wants to be today, without pressure, without judgment. Wherever you were, you're going to gently ease your way back into child pose, taking a couple of deep recovery breaths here, especially if you were in an inversion, either hare or the quarter headstand, Slabasana. You're going to find your way from here back into your original start position on the mat. So just thinking of gently drawing back into either your thunderbolt position with your knees together and your heels together, or maybe coming into a high kneeling frame, or perhaps just sitting cross-legged in Sukhasana. We're going to bring our hands into a Venus lock, placing one palm on top of the other. Gents, right hand on top of left. Ladies, left hand on top of right. Just to think of allowing the thumb tips to gently touch, and then allow your index finger of the top hand to touch the Venus mound, that little soft fleshy spot between the thumb and the index finger of the other hand. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. We're going to play with a little bit of breath work again. We'll take it to Sitkari, hissing breath. You're going to be inhaling through your mouth on this one and exhaling through your nose. For the inhale, you're gently going to purse your teeth together, and you're going to suck up air through the little gaps in your teeth, making a soft hissing sound, something like this. Close your mouth, exhale through your nose. Rinse and repeat, finding a soft rhythm of your own, maybe gently closing the eyes and taking your focus in. Making a nice hissing audible sound on the inhale, and no sound on your soft exhale. Keep that breath pattern flowing, and as you find a steady rhythm of your own, start mindfully dropping your shoulders away from your ears. Tuck your tailbone softly under, look for length in the lower spine, and then extend that length all the way up the chain of the spine. Give me the longest neckline that you can, and try to float your crown up to the ceiling. Last round of Sitkari. Keeping your eyes closed. Take a big inhale in as you swim the arms around you. Exhaling as you bring them down in active prayer along the midline of the body to stop with your palms in front of your heart. You're going to play with that movement dynamically, giving me a big inhale to sweep or circle the arms around. Exhaling to come down in active prayer. Almost beginning to make the movement a soft meditation, and starting to chant the words, I am, internally. Just run that mantra through your head. tying it back to our theme of ahimsa, the yogic principle that stipulates that yoga should be inclusive for all, irrespective of experience, and that yoga should be non-judgmental, not only of oneself, but of others. It is the journey itself and not perfection that is your reward. With that last thought, stop with your prayer hands gently in front of your heart and close off your practice today by nodding your chin to your chest. Namaste to you all. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do hope that you enjoyed that class. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Remember to shoot me your comments and your feedback. Always be subscribed with your notifications on. I shall see you tomorrow on the mat for Pilates. Till then, keep it light.